it's a race against time. What if I lose my ability to walk, to function? What if I can no longer speak or move my body? Who will want to be near me if I need to be carried to bed or to bathe or to the toilet? Of course, I am terrified of this degenerative, progressive disease. Of course, I am afraid that I will let people down. When I was late to meet a friend, she told me that she was very disappointed. And there have been many people I have disappointed because Parkinson's is always with me. I can't just set it down because there's an important event. I have been late to many things. I was almost late to my daughter's graduation. Of course, this was a priority for me, and of course I overcompensated to try to get there early. It takes me 2 or 3 hours just to get out of bed sometimes in the morning, since my nerves were crushed in my left leg. There's always something with Parkinson's. They say it doesn't kill you, but I'm pretty sure that asphyxiation and not being able to move or breathe or function is deadly. I find it interesting that it's so unpredictable, mercurial. My off times are completely debilitating. I can barely breathe or speak. When my medications cross the blood-brain barrier, I can actually function for maybe an hour to 2 hours, sometimes even 3. On a really lucky day, it'll be 3. But that window of time leaves me feeling anxious. Can I get it all done before I turn into the pumpkin again like Cinderella? You know, it's like that tale. You just don't know how much time you have. And yesterday I spent that entire amount of time on the phone talking to people who did not want to hear from me because there was another problem in the building where I live. They were rude, unsympathetic, like, oh gosh, another privileged problem. Oh, you can't get your car out. Oh, the elevator doesn't work, poor you. But when the elevator doesn't work and you have 17 bags of groceries delivered, and they're heavy, it takes 4 hours to climb up those stairs. And that includes carrying things in your teeth. Yes, I could have called a friend, but it was 6:30 or 7 o'clock in the morning. I'm really tired of explaining, but really, who cares, right? Everybody's got problems. That's what they said. They said, ma'am, you poor thing, you can't get your car out of the car lift. I don't even want to drive. I don't even want to park the car in the car lift. It's just part of the building where I live. But that's not the point. The point is, disability encounters thousands of microaggressions every week. We get discounted. We are basically invisible. The same men who used to pass me on the street and whistle look away when I'm walking toward them because I'm not really walking. I'm usually shuffling or carrying a cane, sometimes a walker. On the occasion that I can walk without a cane or a walker or a walking stick, I will sometimes encounter a wall of people and I'll say something like, excuse me, so I can get through. Just yesterday, a man stepped to the side and said, well, then go. And I froze and festinated and I couldn't get moving. And he continued to bark orders at me, as if I were doing it on purpose, which would be one of the strangest choices. Everybody sees the world through their own template of experience. Of course, he had no idea that I was not capable of getting my brain to connect with my body. But because this was in public, I was humiliated. And I actually had other people barking orders at me simultaneously. Well, just go, lady. What's your problem? I'm sure that they mean no harm. It's not personal. But what are we supposed to do? Wear a big sign that says, I have Parkinson's, which to most people who aren't in the arena simply means a little bit of shaking. Or how cute. Oh, like Michael J. Fox. He seems fine. I don't know. He's had it for probably 30 years. Is he fine? Is he? Maybe you should let Michael answer that, you know? Maybe he's the one you should ask. Which leads me to my final point. Please include people with Parkinson's when you're doing talks. Don't send a bunch of so-called experts in there who have never in their bodies or in their immediate families experienced the disease. Reading about it and studying it is the equivalent of reading about or studying a country, never having visited in person, or living in a country for most of your life. Who knows more about that land than someone who actually lives in it and with it and from it? But Parkinson's was not a choice. It's a choice how we treat people and how we respond to things and how much compassion and care we can give each other. And if I'm being honest, of course I am, always, because I don't have a choice. I can't remember the things I say enough to lie. If I'm being honest, I would say it infuriates me to have to explain, especially if I have to do so repeatedly, especially when I have no backup, like nobody's around or the people that are around aren't paying attention and they don't support me. They're not advocates. They don't know what to say. They freeze when something happens. And yet, that's a lot to expect from someone who doesn't live with or understand the disease. I believe we're all doing the best we can with the resources we have available. But we're all big animals with big brains, and we can use them to educate and inform ourselves. I was once ignorant about this disease. I have done things that were microaggressions and ableist as well, which is why I can completely forgive people for not informing themselves enough to be at least thoughtful and respectful. We get dehumanized. We get told advice from people who don't really know. We are sold snake oil. We are promised solutions and cures and reversals. We are tired of this shit. So if you know a person with Parkinson's in this month of Parkinson's awareness, I just ask that you please be patient. When we are off and trying to speak, when we are shuffling and trying to step, when we are meeting you, please allow some space in there and some kindness and just consideration. Thank you for listening. I appreciate you. And remember this, if you're listening and you have Parkinson's, or you're newly diagnosed, or you're long time diagnosed, you're not alone. You're never alone.